What's going on, YouTube? We are just getting started. TikTok's not just getting started. They've been on the live for a couple minutes. We always start the TikTok live earlier. But going back to it, when do you know when to continue a product? The problem is, Troy, most people do not put in the amount of effort needed to make a product successful. I will stand on that hill. I will decease on that hill. I mean, you have too many people putting in the minimal amount of effort, wanting extraordinary results. And I'm not talking about you, of course, Troy. I'm just speaking generally. So hopefully nobody takes offense to the way I answer questions. But I'm your direct uncle. I'm your Amazon uncle who's not going to sugarcoat anything for you, and I'm going to let you know what you're doing wrong when you're doing it wrong, because I'm telling you. I honestly would accredit more people failing on Amazon because they didn't put in the amount of effort needed post-launch after the product is live versus people who launch a product that's not good on Amazon. Just plain and simple. Most people will launch one version of their listing. They'll make no edits after that. They'll go and make one push for reviews. They won't make any more pushes after that. And then they're like, why is my product not working on Amazon? Because you didn't do enough. You did not do enough. What if a keyword is good, but main keyword is over-dominated? Example, laundry pod container. Things didn't know, just started. No worries, Troy. Like I said, that wasn't directed towards you, my friend. I was just speaking generally. Laundry container is main keyword, over-dominated. I'd probably avoid it. I do private label, Verta. Wholesale is not worth my time. Arbitrage isn't worth my time. Those are not good. I shouldn't say they're not good. They're okay business models, but yeah, they're just not worth it in my opinion. And notice how every time I say that, we get people who drop off from the live because everybody thinks that arbitrage is the only way to sell on Amazon. All of these creators are doing doing arbitrage. How would you go about shipping large items like a desk or couch 3PL? I would still want to do FBA, but I probably wouldn't sell that oversized of an item if I'm being honest with you. Lost. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you to everybody who's liking the live. User 62, that's the only one that's popping up. Remember, if we get to our like goal, we will do either live product research or go over what a good and bad listing looks like, show you guys how I would optimize a listing. What's your best advice selling on Amazon? You ready for this? You won't find this advice anywhere else. No, I'm just kidding. Just start. Just start. I would say that, I have 38,000 followers. I would say more than 50% of them at some point were interested in Amazon. They had that motivating feeling, which I don't believe in motivation. It's a bunch of nonsense to me. And then they learn and learn and learn and learn. And listen, I love every single person who's in the live, supporting my content, supporting the lives. But I'm your Amazon uncle who is going to just tell it to you straight. I'm never going to sugarcoat it. Most of the people who come up in the lives and are just watching the lives, asking questions every single day, they haven't even taken step one in order to start selling on Amazon. And then they just think that they're doing work because you're learning or you're watching videos on social media. At some point, most of you don't know. In fact, I would say most of you, if you don't sell on Amazon, you already know what step one is. Create your Amazon seller account. Take action this week on actually doing the dang thing. I was learning as I went. You think I had and that goes for every successful seller that I knew. Every single one. Meanwhile, every single person wants to be a successful seller, but they don't do what all of the successful sellers that I knew did. Womp, 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 100%. I don't need partners, Cam. Thank you, though, bro. Sounds like private label. It is private label. I make edits every day. You don't even want to make edits every day, Troy, because you need to see the type of edits that you make. You need to see how they perform after. And a day is not enough data to do that. So let's say that you're going to optimize your main image. You optimize your main image, then you collect some data, see how the data performs versus your old main image. That goes for your title, your bullet points, your description, your A+ content. So you don't necessarily want to make edits every single day. You want to make edits paired with looking at the data. If he we just blew up on me, maybe for the best. Sheep, you don't got to play video games anymore. Womp, 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 womp. This account runs at a 40% margin after everything Verta. So PPC ads, cost of goods, shipping, returns, FBA fees. Can you tell your failed supplement product story? Yes, I can. So, very first product that I ever launched on Amazon was a supplement. He says, dang, Uncas hearts today. I'm sorry, Sheep. All love, brother. You know that always. I'm going to tell the story. Let me just catch up. Chris, thank you so much for the follow. What is a good ROI on a project? 30% maybe. Yeah, 30%. That would be profit margins, not necessarily ROI. ROI is return on investment. So like if you have a 50% ROI, you invest 1,000, then you're making 500 from that. I think that minimum ROI would be like 50% to 100%, but a good profit margin would be minimum 30%. Like I said, Sheep, it's all love, brother. But yeah, man. All those things are distractions. And in fact, let me say this story, and then I'll get into my failed supplement. That's great. Yes, sir. So, the Roman Empire, one of the most powerful empires in history, right? At some point, the people started to revolt. And when this happened, they were like, how do we figure this out? How do we make sure that we keep all of our loyal subjects in line? So what did they do? They built one of Rome's most famous, if not the most famous attraction in Rome today, the Colosseum. And they said, let's put on a show for everybody. And then they won't worry about everything else that's going on behind the scenes. Now, we don't have a modern day Colosseum, but you know what we do have? We have sports arenas, we have video games, we have Netflix, we have an endless amount of information. In fact, think about it. This doesn't benefit me saying this. Even some of y'all watching the content every single day and not taking any action on it is the equivalent. You might as well be watching your favorite Netflix show. If you're just scrolling through, let me watch Amazon videos, because then I'll feel like I'm working, and then you don't do anything. You might as well watch Netflix. So is it cool to have hobbies? Yeah, I have hobbies. I do things that probably aren't the most productive to my time, but I keep that at a very minimal. So I was listening to Kevin O'Leary, one of the Shark Tank investors, and I'm still going to get to that story, Noah, don't worry. But one of the Shark Tank investors, and I didn't know this until I watched this interview, but I found out that he actually worked with Steve Jobs, not on Apple, but he created education programs for Apple's products. And he talks about two concepts. I do agree, Mr. Wonderful. Everybody thinks he's mean, but I don't know. Maybe people think that I'm mean too, because I'm just going to tell it to you straight. I think he's dope. But anyways, he talks about Steve Jobs, the most successful entrepreneur the world has ever seen. Another little fun fact. If Steve Jobs, RIP, rest his soul, if he didn't give away a majority of his Apple shares, because he gave away a lot of them, and if he was still around today, he would be the richest man in the world by a long shot. It would be Jeff, Mr. Bezos, Elon, and it would be Steve Jobs. Again, Steve Jobs would be significantly more rich, rest his soul, than Elon Musk is today if he was still around. That just simply goes by. Apple is the largest company in the world. I think NVIDIA recently beat them, But before that, they were the biggest company in the world. They are the biggest company in the world. So he talks about two things. No, bro, I'm talking about an entrepreneur. BlackRock is an investment company. They invest in other companies. We're talking a single company. Apple is the large. Go look it up. Google's free, you guys. It's free to figure out this information on your own. So, I don't believe that's true. Let's double check. Let's fact check this. I need the story. You're right. You're right. Well, let's just see. Let's just see. Let's finish the story, then we'll fact check that. NVIDIA, I know, is number one. I mentioned that. Anyways, talks about two things. Noise, and I forgot the word, but we'll call it output. There was another word that he used. There's two things in business, noise and output. Steve Jobs spent a majority of his time focusing on output. But what did that mean? He was probably a harder person to work with. Even his book, the Steve Jobs biography, one of the 3 books that I have right here, even all of the accounts of Steve Jobs said that thing. He was a very hard person to have relationships with. He didn't necessarily put too much time towards family and friends and all of this, which I know it sounds harsh, but that would be considered noise. And he put all of his energy towards output, creating a large and successful business, right? So how many people here are focusing on the noise? Let me go hang out with the boys. Let me watch Netflix. Let me scroll TikTok. Let me scroll IG. Let me watch YouTube videos. And how many people here are focusing on output? Let me do tasks that are going towards my success in my business. When you focus more on output, then you have more success. When you focus more on noise, you end up like actually 90% of the world. Everybody wants to be like the 10% in the world, but everybody acts like the 90%. It's backwards. So now let me get to Noah's, because I've been lagging. Hopefully Noah's still in the live. But Noah wanted to know about the story of my failed supplement product. So the very first product I launched on Amazon was a gummy supplement. It was very, 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 that's why I got noise canceling AirPods. That's funny. And I'm going to scroll back up and get to everyone's question. Don't worry. But the very first product that I launched that was successful on Amazon was a gummy supplement. I'll get to that, Patel. Remember, I'm going to get to everybody's questions, so just bear with this story, and then I'll scroll back up and get to all the questions. So I'm thinking, for that first product, at some point was doing 6 figures, right? Bro, turn off the comp. I'm sorry, Verda. I know, I get easily distracted, bro. But that first product got a #1 bestseller badge within 1 month, was doing 10K in top line revenue within 1 month. Within 6 months was doing 10K in net profit a month. That product changed my life. Now I'm sitting there thinking, of the mistakes that I made with later products that I launched, although that first one was successful, was because I threw out all of the concepts of that first product out the window. And so with this other product, and I'll tell you guys what it is. I don't mind sharing my failed products. It was apple cider vinegar gummies, a classic David and Goliath story, but not classic because Goliath won. I go into a overly competitive market. The numbers looked nothing like my very first product that I launched. My very first product that I launched had good market numbers. Now, I didn't do too much to differentiate that product. I did a little bit, but the average price in that market was very low. The average cost per click in that market was very high. I'm talking like $3, $4, $5, $6. The average reviews in that market was very high. I was going up against Goalie. At the time, they had like 250,000 reviews. Right now, they have like 330,000 reviews. No. My first gummy supplement was successful, Verda. I'm talking about my next supplement that I launched. That's the apple cider vinegar gummies. And I threw out all of the concepts. And this is why I use the product criteria that I have today. Because it's not just about launching products that you like. Now, this product was popular. It was trending, apple cider, boom, boom, boom. I thought it would do great. But on Amazon, I got absolutely crushed like a little ant with that product. Now, that product actually did, luckily, I didn't make it a loss. Like, I didn't necessarily lose money on it, because I sold the rest of the units on Walmart, and they actually performed pretty decent on Walmart, decent enough to sell through, I should say. And I also got that product because I had built, from my first gummy supplement, I had built really good relations with retail stores, more specifically NutriShop, a lot of NutriShops around California. And I've gotten a lot of my products into NutriShop. So I was able to sell through in stores, and I was able to sell through in Walmart. But on Amazon, I got absolutely crushed. I did probably actually lose some money because of PPC ads. I was spending and spending and spending, trying to get that product to page 1, but there's barely any low reviewed sellers on page 1 for that product, especially now, but even more, or not more so, but even back then. So yeah. Also, I don't even like talking about my first product was a supplement, because I see this question. I don't recommend supplements. It's not a category that I would go into in 2025. That product was established more than 6 years ago, and I no longer own that company. And then, this one was established 5 years ago. And the only reason that we can launch new products in this account is because we have such a strong brand name. So our brand name is synonymous in supplements. And so we could go launch vitamin B. We don't sell vitamin B, but we could go sell vitamin B, and it would perform good simply because of the brand. Nothing else. Nothing else. If I was a brand new seller with not a popular brand, and I went and it's almost like, what's the Nature's Made? Nature's Made is a supplement brand. Nature's Made can go launch any supplement that they want, just because of their brand name. But I would never launch those products. Learn from my mistakes, by the way. Don't think because I had success on gummy supplements, my very first product, that you will. Listen to the apple cider vinegar gummy story that I just told. If you go launch supplements, it will be the same scenario. Low average price, super high average reviews, and super high cost per clicks. We have products that are $9.99 in this account. You want to know what the average cost per clicks are? $3, $4, $5, $6, $7. Do you think anybody here is going to be profitable on a $9 product with $5 cost per clicks? It's a rough go. So you have to actually, that's a market that I would never touch nowadays. And now let's scroll up and get to all the questions that I missed. Tanaka, thank you so much for the follow. What up, Leo? What up, Ayan? I'm scrolling up. I missed a bunch. Sorry. It was story time. There we are. We're hatching back up. Thank you for sharing the live sheet. Dang, 100 shares. Can you be my mentor? I can. You could either have access to me through these lives and ask any question that you want. You can go watch my free content, the 1,000+ videos that I put out on TikTok. Now, if you wanted direct access to me as a mentor, you could check out the AMZ Masterclass mentorship in the TikTok bio. Am I missing out as a cosmetic company by not being on Amazon? Yes, 100%. Especially if you have a well-known cosmetic company. Go watch a season of Shark Tank, one of the more recent seasons. I know I was just talking about the noise, but that's one of my favorite shows. When a brand goes onto the Shark Tank, you'll either hear one of two things. You'll hear one of our main distribution channels is Amazon, or if they're not on Amazon, you'll hear the sharks, 100 millionaires and billionaire, say, why are you not on Amazon? Even they understand the power of Amazon. If you have a brand, you're for sure losing opportunities, especially if you're driving traffic to that brand elsewhere. People are probably going and searching for you on Amazon and you don't even know it. I have a few watches, nothing like Mr. Wonderful. Bro, in Canada, why I can't buy shipping labels from Amazon? You don't buy shipping labels from Amazon. You create a shipment on Amazon and then you get your shipping labels. Doesn't matter what country you're in. By the way, I made a video for my listing today and submitted it for a 3D model at Amazon, which takes 3 weeks. Nice. Honestly, hard to focus on output. I do focus on output, but noise is easy and fun distractions. LMAO. We're human, Patel. That's very normal, my friend. But at the end of the day, how bad do you want the success? How bad do you want to change your life? I think it was Einstein. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was Einstein who defines insanity of doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So we're going to sit and watch Netflix. We're going to scroll through social media. That's how we've lived our entire lives. And then we want this extraordinary result in life. It would be silly to think that the same lifestyle that we live now would be the one that gets us that extraordinary result. A lot of people disagree with this, but a lot of people struggle to find the success that God blessed me with. I know that sounds very arrogant, but this one's a little hard for people to grasp. When I first started selling on Amazon, the old Luke was gone. Like if you guys knew me before I started selling on Amazon, he would be unrecognizable to the person who is sitting here talking to you today. Party, go out, hang out with the friends, indulge in the reefer, all of these things, video games, talking video games till 3, 4 in the morning and wake up to go to work, no gym, poor diet, eating junk, not caring about my body, not caring about my mind, not learning new things, all of these different things, hanging out, thinking that time was not of the essence, right? The new Luke crushed the old Luke. Spit him out. Like the buster that he was. I stopped hanging out with a bunch of friends. Not because I was going to leave my friends behind. There's certain friends who they are just now starting to figure out certain things in life. I didn't abandon those people. But the people who didn't see the vision, the people who didn't support me, the people who all they wanted to do was hang out with me at the party. You'll go stop hanging out at the kickbacks and the parties and hanging out with certain people because you're working on your business, and then see who your friends truly are. For real. I stopped going to family functions. I recently told this story. One of my little cousins, it was Thanksgiving, and I was like, how old are you? She's like, I'm 7. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're 7? And her dad looks at me. He's like, yeah, you really weren't around for a while. That was how I got to the position that I am today. Oh, it's this person. Like I see people and every single week they have a new event. If you give your time to every single person, to every single event, you'll have no time for yourself. You work a 9-to-5 job and it's this person's birthday and it's this person's graduation and it's this person wants to hang out and this person wants you to come over and you got to go do that. You're not going to have time to be successful. I turned all of that off. I sacrificed so much, so many things, and I will never take it back. I can't get that time back, nor would I change a thing. That's how you become successful. Simple as that. And then he launched the wrist wrap because he used it at the gym and thought it was good. Yeah, that was another failed product. Wholesale or private label? Private label all day. Wholesale is not worth my time. I'm trying to be the owner of the brand. I want a brand that I can sell one day. Nobody's going to buy your wholesale brand. How did you contact supplement suppliers? Just curious. Same way I contact any other manufacturer. What up, Alex? Good to see you. I was just about to ask myself about supplement manufacturers. I know it's hard nowadays. I would not sell supplements, you guys. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Truzo. It accidentally scrolled me down to the bottom, so I got to go up on all these shares. Hold up. There we go. What you sell? Health and household products, home and kitchen, home decor, office products, toys and games, baby products. Those are some of the most popular ones. Or you can think of he can do it, I can too, don't. Yeah, I wouldn't think that. What is essential fear of God marketing strategy? Are you talking about the brand fear of God? I don't really know too much about them. I do Google ads for my service business. Nice, C-Man. How do I check if I'm gated for private label item trying to sell your? There's no gating unless you're talking about the only ones that are gated, and this isn't even gated like arbitrage, is toys and games for kids under the age of 12, baby products, anything consumable, and anything that you put on your skin and hair. Those are the main ones that are gated, and you create a mock listing and see. All the other products like AirPod case or water bottle or envelope opener or stapler, all of that's fair game. Do you recommend doing the trademark and brand registry because launching? Yes, I do, especially with the incentives that Amazon is offering nowadays. Do you recommend doing? I answered that. How do I start selling on Amazon? Step 1, create your Amazon seller account. Step 2, get a product research software and find a potential product to sell. Congratulations to everybody, because I just told you the only 2 steps that you should focus on if you want to start selling on Amazon. Stop trying to learn about 10 steps down the road. Take action on the first steps today. That is how I became successful selling on Amazon. It was not rocket science. I'm not Elon Musk. I didn't need to figure out the materials of my rocket and how I was going to build it and hire scientists and do all this stuff. You start with step 1, you do step 2, then you do step 3. But if you're sitting here trying to learn step 1 through 100 before you take action on step 1, you're probably doing a disservice to you and your business. What's better, standard shipments or optimized? Optimized, 5 shipments in most cases. What is a good ROAS on Amazon campaign? Mine is at 1.87. That's not the worst. It's not the best. I would say 2x is decent. 3x and above is great. You got to get your conversion up. It's the story of every new Amazon seller's life. Truzo, thank you for sharing the live streaming. Thank you so much for the follow. I spend on ads but get few sales. What to do? It's a new product. I bet you don't have reviews, and I bet you haven't optimized your listing. There you go. End of story. Do that. We probably have some new people in the live, so I'll tell this story again for all the people who are always in the live. Sorry that you have to hear this a million times. Amazon ads are like a billboard. If I'm driving down the highway, I see a billboard for a restaurant. I pull off the highway. I go to the restaurant. I look at the restaurant. I look at the menu. I look at the environment, and none of it looks good. And I'm like, you know what? I'm out. I'm going to McDonald's instead. The billboard did its job. Amazon ads, if somebody clicks on your ad, the ad did its job. The product itself and the product listing are what sells the product. So now I'm speaking generally, not towards you, Sultan, but too many people want to blame Amazon ads and not take accountability that they probably have 5 reviews, 8 reviews, 3 reviews, 10 reviews, made 0 optimizations to their listing, don't even understand what a good product listing that actually sells your product looks like is. I promise you, if you get clicks on your ads, the ad did its job. You meet some amazing people when you focus on yourself. Met pasta bar owner, talked with for 1.5 hours. Nice. Yeah, you definitely do. And so many people ask, like, how do you meet other people who are like-minded? You know, especially when you're trying to evolve and maybe you're leaving some old friends behind. At the end of the day, like for me, right? I'd be sitting at home. I'd be just working. I'm not going out. I'm not really doing that much. But it was like these people were, it was almost like a magnet. They were like attracted to me, not attracted in that way, pause. But they gravitated towards me. A lot of the successful Amazon sellers that I now know, I met because they saw me doing my thing. Stay in your lane, focus on you, and then you'll attract, these people will start to gravitate into your life. Can't wait to have you as a mentor very soon. Yes, sir, Patel. Yes, sir, brother. I can't wait to have you in the mentorship, my guy. He gave me some amazing advice. Yeah, and those are the only people that you should be taking advice from. If it's your homie who's, you know, not doing anything with their life and they're telling you, God, bro, you got to do this. We got to start this business. You got to do this. And then don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Only listen to people who are more successful than you. That's why I think it's hilarious when people are like, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this. What are you saying? You make $12 an hour working at a fast food joint. What are you trying to tell me how to live my life, how to spend my money, how to spend my time? I actually created some friction with some family members because they were sitting there telling me, oh, Luke, you should go to college. You should have a backup plan. You should, like literally, I had an uncle tell me at Thanksgiving one year, he's like, he pulls me aside. He's like, listen, I know you're doing this Amazon thing and I know it's doing good for you, but I really think that you should go to college and have a backup plan and have a degree. I was like, a degree? I make more than a college professor in 1 month than they do in 1 year. What are you saying right now? Go to college and get a degree. And for some of y'all, that's the right move. I'm not saying college is all bad, but how are you going to, how is somebody making $50,000 a year was going to tell somebody who was making more than $50,000 a month that they should go to college? Don't listen to these people. You stay in your lane. Listen to people who are more successful than you. Now, if you're going to college and you're trying to get a degree and you had like what's an example, an engineering degree, and you have a successful engineer who's trying to tell you, hey, you should go do this, you should go do that, maybe you should listen to that person. They're successful. But if you're, again, trying to get an engineering degree and your homie who's working at Jersey Mike's is like, bro, you should go do this, you should go do that. No, I'm not going to listen to you. Are you Lebanese? No, I'm Egyptian. How long it takes for Amazon to unlock more brands after sales? I don't do arbitrage. I do private label. Have you ever sold pet toys? I've sold pet products, sell pet products, but not necessarily pet toys. Hi, Luke. I contacted the LLC, Wyoming. The cost is $299. I cannot come up with a business name. Business name. Ask ChatGPT. Business name is not going to be the hardest thing. Do you ever use Frontier Coupe? No, I don't know what that is. Say it again. Say what again? I was going on too many rants today. Should I start as a sole proprietor, then when I am ready to launch open corp? No, if you're going to wait till you're ready to launch, you might as well start with an LLC right away. But the brand registered could take months, bro. Nope, that's not true. It doesn't take months. It took me 10 days, less than 10 days. IP Accelerator program through Amazon. Within 5 days of me submitting the payment, I had a pending trademark, and then I submitted that to brand registry. Within another couple days, I was brand registered on Amazon. It does not take months. Abby, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. Also, the story off my live at the moment. Wait, what do you mean by that, Sheep? Is optimized shipments best because they spread your products to multiple fulfillment centers? Yeah, because you avoid the inbound placement fee, but keep in mind your manufacturer or your freight forwarder may charge you more because the volumetric weight of your shipment goes down. I am new. How you started this? Get out of here, Alex. Good to see you, brother. Alex, one of the AMZ Masterclass students, also one of the top viewers in the live. He's definitely trolling. I tried to sign up today. It's asking me for my business name. If I don't have a business, but my country, what do you mean, Bar? That's all. Unless, yeah, I don't know what you mean. But yeah, business name is easy, guys. Ask ChatGPT for 30 ideas, 50 ideas, and then figure it out. And then double check that business name's not taken. How do I increase sales? I'm capped at 7 per day. Also, I'm doing Amazon ad campaigns. You got to get your conversion up. You got to get your reviews up. You got to get your organic rank up. Yeah, it just happens. It's like fate. Yeah, these people are going to come onto your path. You don't even need to seek these people most of the times. One of my buddies, Jeff, some of you may have seen his content on social media before. That guy is outside. I love Jeff. He's like the networking king. Jeff could be hanging out with, he's not this kind of person. I'm just saying, like, he's such a versatile, he's like a chameleon. He could put himself in all these different environments, go hang out with somebody from the hood, and then be in a business meeting with the CEO, and then go, be with the people, trying to teach them certain things. Like, so that's another way to get around it. But Jeff doesn't sell on Amazon. He's more of a, he owns some clothing brands. He sold his clothing brand, and then he's kind of doing consulting for other businesses right now. So it makes more sense for him to be outside. What is your go-to category to choose winning product from? All the categories except topicals, consumables, electronic products, and fragile items. It's easier for me to say the categories I wouldn't launch in than the categories that I would launch in. Yeezer, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. Helium 10 or Jungle Scout? I like Helium 10 better. Luca got 100K to play with. What should I roll it into? Fox, it's your money, not me, brother. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some dude on the internet. Any dude on the internet you shouldn't take advice from. If you want to sell on Amazon, you sell on Amazon. If you want to go do real estate, you go do real estate. What is going to interest you? Because it's your money. It's none of our money. You know what I'm saying? So like I can only tell you guys what I would do, and I sell on Amazon. So I'm not even going to put that full 100K into Amazon. For me, again, I can only tell you what I would do. I'm putting, maybe 25 of that towards Amazon over time, not at once. 3 to 5 in the beginning, and then I'm getting my proof of concept, and then I'll start rolling out more products as time goes on. The 20K would be business money in that regard, and then the rest is going towards investments. Makita, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. It costs so much to file a trademark via a lawyer. IP accelerator program. I spent $950. C Blazin, thank you so much for the follow. I'm lost and tired of the stock market. I mean, Fox, what interests you at the end of the day? What interests you? Do you want to sell products online? Do you want to? I mean, I'm not really a stock market guy. That's not my investments. Does real estate interest you? Are you trying to create cash flow? Are you, it also depends where you are in your life. What type of business do you have? I have corporations and I have LLCs. Where's your business located? My businesses are all based out of Wyoming. Yeah, leave it at that. Allegedly. The 2 questions I asked while I was signing up to Amazon. But why would I brand register first? What if the product flops? Well, do you plan on, let's paint a hypothetical scenario. If you start something and your first go fails, are you giving up forever? Because I promise you, that's not what it takes to be successful. Imagine a football player or a UFC fighter. Let's use UFC fighter because I like UFC. I don't watch football. Imagine it's your UFC debut, right? You go out there, you lose your first match. Are you retiring? Are you going to be successful? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is your goal to sell on Amazon long term, or is your goal to just play around, try something? If this doesn't work, like I know somebody in my life who there was this, I used to watch Jimmy Neutron as a kid, and I wish I actually might have to go back just for the sake of telling this story and find it. But I remember this episode. There was like this scientist, and this is going to be relevant. Don't worry. There was this scientist where he would build these crazy contraptions, but he only got like halfway through every time he built it. He never finished the thing that he was building. And I know somebody in my life who's kind of similar to this. Like they were sitting there and they're like, I'm going to go do, what was the first thing that they said? No, it was first Amazon. And then they didn't really put the most amount of effort, the full amount of effort needed to be successful selling on Amazon. So then they were like, I'm going to do digital marketing. And then, they realized that it was a lot harder to get digital marketing clients than they thought. So then they went and started doing sales. And then they realized that they had to make a lot more calls than they anticipated to get sales. So then I get another call. They're like, I think I'm going to make content on YouTube. I heard that that's a way that you can make money. I was like, okay, I've been yes, you can be successful in that, but I've been making content on YouTube for the last year and I haven't even gotten paid from YouTube. So you got to give that your all. They're like, yeah, I'm going to do a travel channel. I was like, okay, well, yeah, still same thing applies. And they're always bouncing around to new things. So it's like, is your goal to be an Amazon seller, or is your goal to be like that scientist who does things half of the job and then it doesn't work? John, you should go watch my second to last video. In fact, let me play it for everybody. This is what John sounds like to me. Good job, brother. Have fun and have fun at your 9 to 5 tomorrow. People are funny. It's the ones who have the most to say who do the least. The ones who have the most to say who do the least. You heard? Where you at, John? I didn't block you, son. Where you at? So, this isn't the account that I have shown, but yes, such a scammer. Such a scammer. Ooh, we had a good first day of Prime Day is always the best day of Prime Day. We'll probably close today out. My guess is like 6 or 7K. It's only 6 p.m. here. This is 1 out of 7-figure Amazon seller account, son. Across all accounts, that's more than your whole family makes. That was arrogant. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Bing! John learned something today. I'm going to have that as a prop for all my lives. A little light bulb for your thoughts. Catching up on questions. What type of I answered that? I answered that. Fox, thank you so much for the follow. How to increase organic ranking? Is that just done through sales? Yes, that's why you got to get those conversions up. I asked because I want to know how it works. If that product flops, do I have brand registry for another brand? No, you brand registry is for the brand, but if you launch a product and it flops, then you just launch another product. Or I can launch another product under the same brand. Yes. Let's go. What product category? Home and kitchen, health and household, home decor, office products, baby products, toys and games. Say the 2 steps you need to start. Step 1, create an Amazon seller account. Step 2, get a product research software and find a product to sell. Remember, those are the only things that you should be taking action on right now. You don't need to learn anything else at this moment. And then once you complete those steps, now you learn the next steps. Differentiating the product, manufacturing. You already know. Blessed day, blessed night, Layla. You already know the vibes. My phone's at 5%. Don't feel like getting up to get a charger. I will. How do you get organic reviews? I've sold around 80 units, but no reviews yet. Amazon Vine program, and allegedly friends and family. Allegedly. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm not saying that I do that. But those are the ways that you get reviews. You are not going to have a good conversion rate if you do not get reviews. Let's go get a charger. Let me go get another charger. The charger that I have up here, I should have 2 chargers up here. What am I thinking? I have to do this like every other day. But anyways, the charger that I have is connected to the YouTube camera. So give me a second. 30 seconds, ask your questions. I'll come back and answer them. And I'm coming back. Still waiting for John's response, son. Do you not use your same internet for what? For multiple products? Or for multiple accounts? Is that what you mean, Alex? You will get flagged. So there's a little workaround to this. There's something on Amazon called user permissions. And so I actually give myself user permissions from a user permission account, and I just give full access. Oh no, I don't leave myself reviews. No. You don't want anybody who's under the same Wi-Fi as you, who lives with you, who's under the same IP as you, to leave you reviews on Amazon. I thought you were talking about for different accounts. Woo! We went on some rants today. Also, now that I have a time to catch my breath, y'all make sure that you go show some love to my last 3 videos that I posted. Last video that I posted is part 2 of the biggest mistakes that I made selling on Amazon. We're doing a 4-part series. That's part 2. So y'all can learn from my mistakes. The second to last video is the video that I just played for all of you guys about people saying, oh yeah, if you have so much time, if you make so much on Amazon, how do you have time to sell courses? And then the third to last video is everything that you need to start selling on Amazon. What up, Luis? Question, answer. Shoot. I got you, my friend. Also, I don't know how we got 183 shares, but only 2.9K likes. That's crazy. Wild. Crazy. Wrong word. Ask a question. I'm going to go off to the side today. Not today, really quick. Take a power up. Little Monica Lazinski. I don't do wholesale, brother. I don't do wholesale, not worth my time. Private label all day, every day. I'm the brand owner of the companies that I launch. Dang, the views were good when I was going on rants. I should go on more rants like that. You guys got to give me some more prompts for these rants and we'll just keep it going. Can I scale wholesale? You can scale anything, brother. Any business. You could scale a lemonade stands. Every business is scalable. Wholesale is just not worth my time. I would never do it. No, 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 no. I want to be the owner of the brands that I sell. Plain and simple. Like I said, brother, I'm not the guy to give you advice for wholesale. I don't do wholesale. That'd be like asking me, now that's how you catch a block. Nobody wants to hear that nonsense. That's like asking me about drop shipping. I don't do drop shipping. I also don't recommend wholesale, so I'm definitely not the person to ask. No problem, Luis. Private label, my friend, the best business model when selling on Amazon analytically and in my opinion. Not even in my opinion, factual. Factual. We could go over the facts too. Private label. Actually, let me give you guys the pitch. You know, you got different sales people. You just got to go to the right one and give you the right. There you go. Alex does wholesale. He's switching over to private label because he already knows the vibe that it's the best business model on Amazon without a shadow of a doubt. but he does do wholesale. Let's also charge the laptop. But this is the pitch for every arbitrage and wholesale seller. You get to sell brand name products that already exist that you don't have to run ads on. You just list your product under the same listing and then boom, you get sales. If only anything was that easy. In fact, I would actually argue that more people struggle with arbitrage than they do with private label. That's my statement. Put it on the record. Beep. Note it. More people struggle with arbitrage and wholesale than they do with private label. Maybe that's because more people are doing arbitrage and wholesale because that's all the content that you see on the internet about Amazon. But back in my day, when I first started selling on Amazon, people were only talking about private label, starting a real business, launching your own products. We have a private label listing. Nice. Create a private label brand, brother. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. But yeah, then 2020 happened. The world was shut down. People had to figure out how to make money. So what did they do? They started teaching other people how to do arbitrage and wholesale. The beauty of the internet. I have nothing wrong with people teaching people how to do it. That's not what I'm saying. How does your mentorship work? I can show you. I will show you. We are using another brand and add a sticker. That's not really private label, bro. That's not the fundamentals of private label. You're not the brand owner, so that's not private label. That's still wholesale. Or IP infringement, one of the two things. Okay, this is for Alex, the other Alex. Yeah, brother, I'm not sure that is ethical or legal. All right, in the TikTok bio, you guys can see everything that the mentorship program includes. So we have 100 step-by-step video. Oopsies. We have 100 step-by-step video guides going through my exact process on how to sell on Amazon. You get direct access to me to message me questions directly. We have our private Facebook group with over 300 students who are all on the same journey as you. Community is amazing. We have 4 group coaching calls, weekly group coaching calls, in-depth lessons on all things Amazon. And all of these calls are recorded and posted into the curriculum if you're not able to attend the live call. You have a one-on-one call with me, exclusive Amazon content. You have access to the AMZ Masterclass Freight Forwarder, where on average students save 30 to 50% on shipping. There's the product selection option where I will select your product for you. You have the AMZ Masterclass listing creation service. You have the most in-depth guide on PPC ads that you will find on the internet, the PPC Masterclass. We have the PPC ad management service. We have the product inspection service. We have the bookkeeping service. And I haven't added this to the site, but you also have the new AMZ Masterclass AI software that I created. And all of this is lifetime access. Now I'm going to show you guys a little bit into this. Let me pull something up and then I'll show the screen again. Hold on. Hold up. So just to give you guys a little sneak peek into the curriculum, this is all of the things you have access to. Introduction to Amazon. You have the starting your business section, starting your Amazon account. We have all of these lessons on product research, product manufacturing, all of these lessons, shipping, all of these lessons, creating an optimized product listing, all of these lessons. Everything on Amazon Seller Central, from brand registry to creating a barcode to getting reviews to allegedly friends and family reviews, getting paid on Amazon, understanding account level reserves, everything here. This is not the PPC Masterclass, but this is the PPC sections, all of these lessons. And then you have on top of all of that, the PPC Masterclass, again, the most in-depth guide on Amazon PPC ads out there. And then remember how I said all of the Zoom call or group call lessons that we do are all recorded from the very first one to the very last one. Every single one of these in-depth lessons. And you have constant support from, of course, me, other coaches, and all of the things that I have built for students. That's why I don't like when people call it a course. It offends me, actually. It's an ecosystem for Amazon sellers. A course would be, here's the video guide. See you later. Don't talk to me. An ecosystem for Amazon sellers is the shipping service, listing creation service. Pretty much every corner that you turn that you need help with on Amazon, we got an answer to. And that's the shameless plug for the day. On that note, everybody, make sure that you guys go show some love to the last few videos. I have so much free content available to everybody for y'all to learn from. I would speak to a CPA about that, my friend, Bar. But I got a lot of free content for all of y'all to learn from. And then for those who wanted a more in-depth guide and to have me as their mentor, the AMZ Masterclass is the thing to check out. The Harvard, I'll say it again, the Harvard of Amazon FBA private label education, and nothing comes close. On that note, everybody, I hope you have a blessed day, a blessed week. Make sure you make it a productive one, because remember, the only one who's going to make it productive is you. And I will see y'all, God willing, tomorrow. Yes, sir, Bar. Hope to see you in the program soon, brother. You too, Alex. Other Alex. Other Alex is already in the program, but God bless you all. And I will see y'all soon.